So since I've got a couple of the companion videos, many of you have been asking me all the time what's up with the builds after the update. So here I am to update you real quick on all of the companions. So quick word about our Mecha-Dog, which was the best primer, and now it's even better because we got coolant leak update, which unleashes a 10-meter radial blast of cold when multiple enemies are nearby and adds 3 stacks of cold, 10 seconds cooldown, reduced of course by manifold bond. So we got another element by baseline without momentous bond to our Mecha-Dog, and well, the corrosive cold build is out of the question now for me because I'm gonna always have that cold from coolant leak. So I'm sticking to corrosive heat when I have nourish and viral heat when I do not have nourish. And all the galvanized mods, you don't need them on the dog. You don't need the dog to do damage, but you can make the damage. But the damage will come from condition overload and galvanized elementalist, not any crits related mods. And Panzer vulp, of course, becomes our discounted primer just in case you wanna have resource retriever on and still be able to prime well. So I'm building it for the shields so I can use reinforced bond and tenacious bond on all of my warframes, so that becomes one universal build I'm using most of the time. Just saying, I don't really have it formatted properly according to the new mods polarities, so I have kinda one forced slot free in which I would be using Fear Sense if I wanted it to do some damage. This is also like looking quite interesting if you wonder, unless you just want to go with the classical Panzer Devolution for the immortality of the pet, but I also used primed pack leader, so I think my pet will be fine. I will just walk up and reset if it dies. And if I don't want the combo points, I just remove these two and I will put Momentous Bond for some extra damage and Territorial Aggression or the Fear Sense, depending what I wanna do with the pet damage. But since we have a separate thing to put the damage mods on, I'd also consider using Vicious Bond if you want some armor stripping, Astral Bond for some extra void damage if you really wanna bother getting it up. In general, you can experiment yourself, it's gonna be quite obvious since you only need Tenacious, Reinforced Bond and Shields for your frame buffs, you need the Resource Retriever for the resources, Pint Pack Leader is one way of the survival, Fetch is like a must on every pet, like the Vacuum on is just irreplaceable. And Primed Animal Instinct is just a free loot and enemy radar range, so that's also irreplaceable for me. Viral Quills is the quirk of Panzer for the free viral priming, so I would not ever replace that either. So since I like combo points and melees, I'm gonna be using Duplex Bond and Tandem Bond for some extra combo generation. Just quick note for all the stances, I use Elusive Posture if I just want my pet to be a Buffbot, like Adarza Kavat, and I use Frenzied Posture if I want them to spread some status effects or do some damage. And this is what I use for the claws if I have Nourish on my frame, simple corrosive and cold. If I do not use Nourish, I just swap out corrosive for viral and I put heat on. But in case of all kavats, I want the critical strike chance on 120%, so I will not be using Call the Weak because I want my Tenacious Bond to work and it's just anti-synergistic if you use that with bite. And if you want your pet to do some priming with the weapons as well, instead of their abilities like Viral Quills, well, Frenzied Posture is probably the best way out for it. You will just have like swipe for the cleave on it, Magnetic Strike, Bell Ringer, just wonderful synergy here. And for Adarza Kavat, this is how it's gonna be looking like, and for most of other pets than Panzer, because we can't really reach shields on 1.2 on Adarza with just having the shield mod. So what I'm using is Link Vitality and Link Fiber, since I'm mostly using it on Kullervo. Pint Pack Leader, of course, since I'm using it on Kullervo and I melee there a lot. Cat's Eye, Tekken Hands, I really like Reflect. Resource Retriever, of course, Tenacious Bond. But they have a quick alternative build in case I'm using, for example, my Mesa, which has Primed Redirection mod on, just solely to have the Tenacious Bond and Reinforced Bond off of Adarza, and I have Link Redirection here, giving me 1.2k shield because of the Mesa's shield, and I have Reinforced Bond activated alongside Tenacious Bond. And don't sleep on our gold old Smeeta because it's really still godly in leveling, you still have the double affinity, you have Tech Enhanced, Tank Assault just to make it tanky, Mischief to draw fire and make Smeeta invisible so it doesn't take damage, so it always can be here and buff you. Primed Animal Instinct Fetch, as I said, always a mandatory, I think. Charm, Aerial Bond to reset real quick in case it somehow dies anyway, and Tenacious and Resource Retriever, of course. And for the claws, I'm using Elusive Posture for the evasion, and all I really need. I don't want it to attack, I want it to stay alive, but I still have a build, of course, because I just copy-pasted all of the builds. And Bite, of course, for the Tenacious Bond. For these of you who use Nautilus, Diriga or anything for the priming, this is how it's gonna be looking plus minus. You will have Coolant Leak now, fired up to add heat unless your weapon has innate heat. But let's actually take a look on an actual priming setup when I use the Sentinels. This is Hellstrom, this is how I have it set up. I just have simple viral and heat. It has innate heat on radial, but I still use heat. Why not? I have coolant leak for the cold anyway. Yeah, I could only put like a electric standalone element. Vigilante ×2 because this weapon needs some fire rate. And using the Vigilante one gives me some extra crit chance to increase the tier of my crits. So why not? And remember, you don't need the galvanized mods, you can use the normal ones, and I will actually just swap to them. I also have primed firestorm, but it's also not really necessary. And for the Riga himself, pretty basic stuff, not much changed. We have arc coil, assault mode, manifold, duplex, astral. This is an optional, depends if you really fancy going operator to get some void damage. Do you? If you don't want to do that, free slot. Primed animal, vacuum, momentous, contagious, coolant leak. This is also like really like optional. This just adds 3 elements, so why not? And this is completely optional. I don't think Hellstrom has that much of killing capabilities like Verglas for an example. Well, my Nautilus is made to just use the Verglas for damage, so I have it set in full offensive mode. I removed the shields and the reinforced bond, so there is not even a point to use Nautilus. But I formed this one for this, so since the format is invested already, that's what I'm gonna be using. I just swapped the reinforced bond for astral bond, aerial bond, because I can sometimes lose my sentinel, and instead of his shields and the reinforced bond, since it doesn't buff himself as well, I just rather rest him with aerial bond and astral bond for some extra void damage, since mostly I use it on void cascade, so I always have some void damage added to the guy. For Verglas nothing changed. I still have viral and heat with some critical, with some extra hit and multi-shot from a Riven. Oh, I wish I had negative on that Riven and higher rolls. My god, that would be so perfect for me. Galvanized mods, Rifle Elementalist, and Vital Sense. Not much changed other than my new Riven. So that pretty much sums up all the companions that I think that are worth your attention. And we are down to Kubrows, which I have the perfect example to showcase in a video, because I just have Helmet, which is the Helmet Charger, and my Mastery Fodder, one last Kubrow that was left. I incubate one more because I really want Chesa, because Chesa has some extra loot possibility. Since the Loyal Retriever can be equipped on all of the pets, all of the beasts to be exact. I'm so stupid, this is a fucking Chesa. Like, why the fuck I incubate new one when I have Chesa? Why did I name it anything other than what it is? Oh my god. So let me start with their claws. I'm gonna be using Bite on this particular one, and I think this is the only Kubrow that is really worth looking at least for me. So I will be using the crit, since it got 15 baseline, so I will have 63 with Bite, then Ashes Bond activated, all that matters for me, and classic viral hit, but it has like elusive posture, so if you want to do damage with it, swap the posture and use that build. And this is only if you have real nice weapon in terms of critical strike chance, for example like Latron. This one has like a huge crit strike chance. If you don't, just look at this one instead, and that part is done. There's one important mod set I really need to mention about Kubrows, which I do not have, but I'm thinking about getting, which is the Mecha set. These make all the status effects spread to enemies within 7.5 meters, and I believe it was 30 meters with all the set mods. And look, squad deals plus 150 extra damage against marked enemy, 60 primary status chance added to companion, and 90 status duration. Killing a marked enemy grants plus 60% armor for 20 seconds for each enemy within 30 meters, and 90% shield recharge. So since I just realized I have the proper one, I don't really have formats on it, so I build it around like just staying alive, and I think I will just leave it be like this. I have the roar for enemies disarm, I have retrieve, scavenge. Seems like it's a fine build for now. Then Ashius aerial, everything looks so fine, so I would say this is the build to go for. Just 2 formats as well. It's time to go over the best value mods we can get from the Master Teasonai. And just quickly before we go further into the video, as you guys can see, 90% of you are not subscribed. So if you're enjoying the content, please leave a subscribe and maybe share with anyone you think would be interested in the video. So thank you in advance, and let's continue with the video. And of course, if you didn't have Smeeta before, you go for Loyal Retriever. If you really want to get both of the resources and credit chance to double pick up. But if you had Smeeta before, you should already be given that mod. And Balanced Posture, Elusive Posture, they are both very nice posture mods, with Elusive Posture being one of the best, because some pets you just want their abilities, you don't want them to get in trouble, which means going into melee range. Blood Thirst, all this healing is really like a useless waste of a mod slot, and the resources for the mod itself is just not gonna cut it. Like, trust me, this is not gonna cut it in terms of healing the pet. Primed Pack Leader is just billion times over better, it's not even comparable. Call the Weak, on the other hand, is one of the best mods in terms of pure raw damage output on the pets. So this is one you grab if you want your pet to do some damn for you. And same goes to precision conditioning, since you will only be proccing slash, while you're gonna only have slash on your physical part of the damage. So those two are must-haves if you want to do damage build for claws of one of your pets. And I'm gonna show you one full damage build at the end of the video. And now we go to the worst part of the video, which is business mods, since those pets are the most annoying for me at least to farm. And he has like the most mods and one of the best mods as well. So that's a dirty move, the Assassin Posture, worth it if you wanna take out the Eximuses out. This is the one I really want to, because the 15 meters, 4 puncture procs, which means critical strike chance debuff on the enemy. But I will not farm those, like I will wait for the prices to go down on this. I refuse to farm these pets. Well, persistent posture looks like garbage for me. I don't really see any useful part of this. Shocking claws, it's all up to you if you want electric, cold, or heat. They have their use, for example, proccing your arcanes, but I would not be picking any of these, especially that it's Fortuna. But my feelings about farming these animals aside, I would just stay with the toxin one. There are other niche use of shocking claws, shielding claws, and burning claws, like Ember's passive, Gyre passive, and Prosperous Retriever will be only good during the event for double credit pickup in Fortuna, so I would not pick it up like ASAP, make it any priority. Brute Conditioning, yeah, the impact damage can be forced with the Bell Ringer, at least the impact status, which all that matters, so I would not really consider this one. And Disabling Conditioning, same goes to the Puncture, then goes to the impact, we can force those procs, so I would not focus on turning all your damage to Puncture. And for the Sons mods, obviously Resource Retriever is like the top priority you should go for. Sepsis Claws, because I think those animals are easier than the Fortuna ones, so I would go for the Toxin damage for extra damage and status chance. But that is only if you wanna go for the damage build. And Frenzied Posture, as I said earlier, it's really nice if you want your pet to do some extra priming with the weapon. Magnetic Strike, same case. Bell Ringer, same case. Those three are the best if you want to do some priming. And Immunity Resistance, this is if you wanna do the damage build. And that concludes all the new mods for the nasty ass tags from animal hunting, so enjoy your hunting and let's go over the damage build. Just remember, the Hunter synergy and all the Hunter mod set will greatly increase the damage of your companion if you're going for the damage. So the damage build on the companion itself would look like this, but I'm a bit limited with the formas, so I had to drop the Resource Retriever, but it's fine. I just wanna show you like plus minus how it's gonna look like with full damage setup. I will have two different loadouts, so let's start with this one. And I also equipped Dread for a quick, high critical strike chance on a weapon. There are better weapons, of course, but for now, we're just gonna use a basic Dread. And we converted everything into Toxin and Slash with Sepsis Claws and Precision Conditioning. We also have Call the Weak, even though we have critical strike chance very high. We have Maul for the base melee damage, Swipe for Cleave, and the status damage for our Toxin and Slash. And we have Venom Teeth, because I didn't really have anything else to put, but since I wanna do some Hunter synergy, I'm just gonna swap it out for the extra crit and damage on the enemies affected by Slash. So to be fair, it doesn't look that bad. 6 times the crit multiplier, 145 the critical strike chance, 46.2% on status is the only caveat of it, and 2.380 total damage. Seems solid, but I'm still gonna use Saren to buff him up a little bit, so he has more of a punch. And I think Corrupted Heavy Gun Eximus is gonna be the best target, since I will be able to steal their power afterwards and see how it's gonna look like with that. So far, ain't looking the worst. He pretty much deleted that guy. I mean, looks pretty solid. I'm gonna give him some extra crit strike chance via Galvanized Scope to see how it's gonna look like with some extra critical. And Heavy Guns Eximus' buffs for Momentous Bond. Just remember that this is without the Overguard damage bonus. I'm gonna give them some more crit. I'm gonna spam some mold for the clones. Yeah, seems like it does damage. He's pretty much deleting them. I mean, he's wrecking them all around, man. Like, the extra Eximus buff might be the culprit here, but he was killing them on the first attempt before I even got him any buffs. So it should be quite solid. If you can see, like, you can clearly see. Like, they're getting completely fucked all around here. I mean, insta-virals plus punctures. This is not even like... This is just one toxin, man. Okay. So, this is the alternative build. I'm gonna show you this quickly after the showcase. And I keep forgetting I need to aim for the crit. And this one does just as well. So, yeah. I'm quite surprised with the performance of this companion in terms of like the damage output. But it looks real nice. Like the vicious. So yeah, those builds are viable. That's like, I used Panzer to get the viral priming for the companion and myself. And the results speak for themselves, I think. They're just getting completely erased. So, that's the other build. Quickly scrapped up from nothing. So, you have this one or this one. I don't know which one I prefer more, but I think I will stay with this one. I really don't want all the elements to be converted into toxin. But well, let's have one more look against gokstad, so there's not gonna be like a crazy bonus off of the momentous bond. I'm gonna get my ability strength quick, buff him up, roar, spam mold for the clones, and let's see how they do into gokstad officers. And the armor strips quite fast with the vicious claws. It's given them some crit because they struggle. Or I don't know what's happening, but I thought it's gonna be a bit better into this. And the other, I mean, they just armor strip, they're just gonna delete them the moment the armor's off. And the armor's off, or they don't need really the strip. I mean, let me see, let's take one more look on one more pack of the enemies, because I'm a bit confused. Let's have a look now. I'm gonna get some clones up. I mean, the moment they get hit with the vicious armor strip is just insta-KO. This also armor strip already. I mean, if you're Siren, you honestly just have to like put one of your spores, spread them up. But I don't even have range on my Siren to do that. Oh, armor strip, boom, one bite, and the ass is completely beaten off, so... Pretty solid, like, way better than I anticipated it to be, honestly. I picked up like a random weapon for the crit, because I was using completely non-crit weapon. And looks pretty decent, yeah? One more time for the gokstads. That's gonna be all from me. Just one more good look on it. Let me first get clones now. Give them roar. Buff them with the corrosive. And let's watch. That should be a bit better because all of the clones are also gonna be buffed up. I wasn't really expecting it from Panzer, which is just there for viraling, but looks quite decent, doesn't it? Like, those are quite tanky units. Let me demonstrate you how tanky they are with the normal build, literally for the combo points generation. Look, these units without any Siren external buff to weapons, and just viral on it. Look, I can spam the damage, the entire magazine. I can get the reload for the augment, still not gonna do much difference, look. Those guys are pretty fucking tough. The moment I have nothing, like, quite hard to kill them. Compressor. Yeah, they can eat it all up. Let me show you one more time how tanky they are with this setup on Torrid, without any buffs from Siren. Hunter munitions, viral, like pretty standard build for Torrid, I'd say. Just let me reset them real quick, just so people don't get it twisted. Like, those guys are not a joke. Of course, a lot changes the moment I press Siren stuff, because they will just evaporate. But they are very tanky when you have no like specific buffs or enhancers to your damage. But well, one more look on how they're gonna generate our combo points. Sadly, the clones don't seem to do much. Well, that was quick for. God damn! That was fast combo points. The fuck? Let me time it out. Where is that Panzer? Damn, that's real fast combo points generation, actually. That is really fucking fast, actually. Just the moment he ain't AFK, you know? I have driven with heavy efficiency on pass assist, but still, that's fast. A bit inconsistent from what I see, or I'm just chipping, but I'm looking one more time with Siam where I have only 40% efficiency, and it doesn't look the worst. Look at the combos. I just got instant 12. I have a bit of efficiency here, but look, I'm going down to 0. I mean, if you want combo points, tandem bond and swipe on the weapon, like, quite fucking amazing, not gonna lie. You will always have some combo points, it's insane.